So I want to start off with the important questions. What is your favorite Misfits song?
Probably Astro Zombies.
Astro Zombies.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie?
No.
You got to see the movie because have you ever seen Faster Pussycat Kill Kill Kill?
Yes.
Tura Santana, I think that's her name is. She's in it,
Ah.
and she's even more beautiful than she is in Faster
Wow.
Pussycat Kill Kill
I'm gonna
Kill.
watch it for sure.
Hi everyone, this is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I am in an interesting looking town called Solvang. And I'm here to visit a tiki bar called the High Roller Tiki Lounge. And who can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, I'm Michael Cobb, and I created High Roller Tiki Lounge here in Solvang, the Danish capital of California, I guess. Yeah.
The Danish capital of California.
There you go.
I'm sure they pride themselves very much on that.
Yes.
Because, like, you know what we got going on? We're going to have the most windmills anywhere in California.
That's right.
The High Roller Tiki Lounge. When I think of the High Roller, I'm thinking of, like, gambling, slot machines. We're obviously drinking out of...
That's Frankie's Tiki Bandit.
Yes, it is, and I'm drinking the tiki. So what's the connection with the...
I just love Frankie's. It's one of the top 10 tiki bars in the world. It's dive bar. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's legendary. And I lived in Vegas for a little while, so that was my home bar then, and I just love it. So it's a little tribute, basically.
Oh, I love Frankie's Tiki Room.
Yeah.
What I love about Frankie's Tiki Room is there's this it's a tiki bar, but they also have this like punk rock
Yeah.
connection to it.
Yeah. Especially with the double down connection.
Oh God, yeah. How many ash juice shots have you had?
I've done a few. Forced to, yes.
You know, it's funny. I was there like the last time I was in Vegas, which was like last year. I'm like, I got to do the ash juice shot. I'm thinking like I'm expecting it to be like, terrible, and I do it. I'm like, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days later, I'm down in San Diego and I'm at Bali High, and I get their Mai Tai
Gasoline.
and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. The ash juice shot was actually better than that. It's like, so there you go. And I got my toilet.
I understand.
I got the mug,
Oh, yeah.
the little toilet mug. It was a rite of passage for me.
Of course.
And then my feels like I want to go back and get the black one. And then a friend of mine brings me one anyways. Like, well, it looks like I don't have to go back again. How did you start this tiki bar here in the Danish capital of California?
Yeah, well, so I worked for Disney for a bunch of years.
Did
I
you
was,
really?
Did. 17 years. I worked at various places. My favorite being the Tahitian Terrace, which is no longer there. But it was between
Yes.
the Tiki Room and the Jungle Cruise, and it was Aladdin's Oasis for a while. Now it's something else. It's where you get Dole Whip now. But
Are you a tiki? Are you a Disney like you love Disney or?
I do. I love Disney. Yeah, sure. The first time I walked into Trader Sam's, which I used to manage that restaurant before it was Trader Sam's, it was Hooks Point, the Lost Bar.
No way.
All that. First time I walked in, I thought, wow, this is where they put all the Tahitian Terrace decor. I mean, it looked just like it for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, they bought out Oceanic Arts and filled the place, basically. But, so yeah, no, I do enjoy Disney and I enjoy Tiki. I was recruited by a winery to come run their operations, so I did that for a few years. Started working my own stuff on the side. Opened my own winery tasting room called Sort This Out Cellars. Say that 5 times.
Sort This Out Cellars.
And we had the High Roller Lounge in the back. And for about 4 or 5 years, my tasting manager at the time, Alana, we were big Tiki,
Now with
Tiki
Alana
fans.
Piranha.
Alana Piranha. That's
I know
right.
her, Alana Dixon.
Absolutely, yes. We talked about it, and we were like, we should make this underused lounge into a tiki bar at some point.
Yeah.
And we were actually at Tiki one day having some drinks, and I was measuring out with my feet the
Yeah.
back room, and I thought, let's just do it. So January, February, slowest time of the year, just busted it out and did it. And it became the High Roller Tiki Lounge, and it quickly overtook wine tasting and wine by the glass. Everybody wanted tiki drinks. And the unique thing we're doing is we use...
People are coming in and like, I want a Mai Tai. You're like, well, wouldn't you want to try this fine bottle of wine? Nah. We just want to drink rum.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned rum. The funny thing
Yeah.
is we have a beer and wine license. Well, back then we had a tasting room license, just a wine license. So we were using wine for our tiki drinks. So
You wore it.
wine-based cocktails.
You wore it. And here's the thing. I mean, and I'll be honest with you. I can't really drink wine. It just gives me terrible headaches
Sure.
and stuff like that. And it's one of those things that's like, oh, yeah, this place looks really, really cool. I want to go check it out. And I'm like, but I don't drink wine. And it's like, and I'm looking like, all the cocktails have wine in it. And then I saw on your menu that, like, you can substitute rum for any, and that's new then, is what you're saying.
That's newer since we moved to this location. Yeah, so we did move a few years ago to a bigger location, flipped it. We still do wine tasting, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the afterthought. We do, and we rebranded, renamed, relocated. So now we're just High Roller Tiki Lounge.
Yeah.
A little tribute to Sort the South Cellars upstairs in our VIP lounge. We do wine tasting, but yeah, we're using a liquor alternative, so it's basically part whatever spirit you're talking about and
Yeah.
part neutral spirit. And we do 2 shots. It's a workaround for a Type 42 beer and wine license,
No, well, I'll tell you what, this is great.
and it saves you $300,000.
$300,000?
That's the going rate for a liquor license. Yeah.
Oh, my
and there's
God.
none available, anyways.
Oh, my God.
Santa Barbara County hates alcohol, to be honest.
Why is that? Well,
I don't know.
so are we in, is this like wine country? Is
Yeah.
that- oh, this is.
There's
Okay.
150 some odd wineries right here.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you? I don't know if I know of any other tiki bars that do wine cocktails.
No, I think we're the only one. Yeah.
And people
We were doing
take it-
wine cocktails for years. We always had this kind of rebel attitude or whatever.
Yeah.
We did live music. We stayed open later, way later than everybody else.
Yeah.
And we found by the end of the day, people kind of wanted something with ice to swirl around and
Yeah.
done wine tasting. So we were doing wine cocktails, and they were a hit. We had 3 or 4 of them, and then once we morphed into the Tiki Lounge, I just expanded the menu, made them a little more tropical.
Yeah.
Kind of got our own vibe going, and that's what it is.
And then actually, where we're filming this, we're actually. Is this like an annex, or is this something? This is starting
Sure.
to become tikied out. What's the story about this space?
Yeah, not long after we moved to the new spot here, we well, for the first year we had to serve on the patio due
Yeah.
to COVID. The people that were here moved out, and I was made aware that I might have to give up half the patio. So I looked into taking this over,
Oh my God!
using it for additional seating, and it's been a little bit of a fight with the city for a year and a half. Bureaucratic baloney. But we're getting through it, and we're close now. So I'm getting ready to transform the space. It'll be additional seating, and it'll be an area. I just built a stage over here, and we're gonna do a burlesque show coming up here October 29th.
Really?
A little Halloween burlesque show, and we'll do ticketed events here, larger musical events like New Year's Eve and such. And there'll be a nice flow through the door here to the patio to the door over there. And
So, well. Speaking of which, as we're here, there is a pin-up photo shoot going on as we speak.
that's right.
And
Sabina Kelly's here. She's a very famous. Grew up here locally in San Luis Obispo. She's a tattooed pinup model, and she's doing some model coaching. And about 4 or 5 girls came today from all over to do a little photo shoot.
the shirt you're wearing,
Yeah,
"Rum Rum My Darling."
first thing you commented
It's
on.
the first thing I noticed because it's a play off of "Die Die My Darling" from the Misfits. Tell me about what's that shirt all about?
That's a tribute to the Misfits. Die Die My Darling.
Yes, it is.
And I also make rum, Betty Page spiced rum that we can't sell or pour here currently.
Oh, are you serious?
But I've was in Vegas for a few years. Got it at Frankie's. They have it there. I was doing events at the Golden Tiki for a few years. We had Tiki Teaserama where I was booking live music, burlesque shows.
No, wait, Tiki Teaserama?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, whoever did you come up with that name?
yeah. I did.
That's
well,
good.
yeah.
That's really good.
Based on Betty Page's Teaserama show. But
I'm
Tiki
very
Teaserama.
familiar with Betty Page's Teaserama
Yes.
and the Verities videos. Very, very Betty to like you're like who's the most beautiful woman ever or whatever. For me, it's Betty Page.
All right.
I mean, I grew up in the '80s, and like even as a we're about the same age. It's like still when I first saw her, I'm like, she's
That's the
it.
one.
She's
Yeah.
everything. And I noticed in the bathroom there was definitely some pictures of Betty Page.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's I take it you're a fan?
I am. My original wine tasting room I was talking about was pinup themed, basically.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of pinups on the bottles, contemporary pinups.
Yeah.
Like Sabina Kelly, Dana Deluxe, Kim Falcon, a lot of these girls that were making a name for themselves, and
Yeah.
when in the MySpace days
The MySpace days. Oh my God.
Facebook, and yeah. So and naturally, I love Betty Page. I love the throwback models as well, Betty Grable, all that. But Betty Page is the number one, of course, for most people, and an inspiration for a lot. And I got the opportunity. I was approached. We did a wine for Elvira back in the day, and
Has Elvira been here?
she has. Yeah,
No way.
yeah.
So-
She used to come.
so have you met her?
frequently. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well-
I worked with her. Yeah, we did a big release at the winery. She came, and oh yeah, yeah. She's a wonderful person.
And doesn't age at
No,
all.
Not at all.
She looks exactly the same as she
One of the
was.
best people I've ever worked with, and of that kind of stature. Just easygoing, brilliant, hilarious. Yeah, it was a great time. But the Betty Page people that hold the licensing, they saw that we did that, and they wanted me to do something with Betty Page. So we did Betty Page wines, and about a year later, I started doing Betty Page rum, kind of to take Sailor Jerry on a little bit. Not
Yeah.
that we ever came close to that, but that was the idea, and we've had fun with it.
It's all coming together I'll tell you what. I drove down here.
Yeah.
I drove down from Seattle, not directly, but I'm actually staying at the Madonna Inn tonight because I love their pink champagne cake. I love cake, and I love staying in their rooms. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, Solvang's an hour south of it, and it's one of those things like,
Straight shot.
and I'm like, is it worth it for me to do the drive, to drive an hour down and then like drive an hour back? And I'm like, I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe. And I actually got to the Madonna Inn, and I actually had to like go to the bathroom because I was driving. I'm like, all right. I was really jonesing for that cake, and I'm thinking like, all right, I'll stop in at the Madonna Inn. I'll hit the bathroom real quick, grab a slice of cake to go, and I'll come down.
There you go.
And I did, and I'll tell you what, I am so glad that I did, because I just want to say, I love your bar.
Thank you.
But more importantly, what I love about the High Roller Tiki Lounge is you're combining a lot of different elements that I love. Because it goes beyond tiki here. You got the tiki. There's this punk rock thing obviously going on. There's this it's almost like the bar should be in Vegas,
Yeah.
And then you have that going on. You have the whole pinup thing going on too. How do you think, in your opinion, how do you think these are all connected, obviously,
Right.
But how do they all work for you? Like, what do you think makes this all gel?
I mean, I think most people like all those things. Maybe
Most people that are cool.
yeah, maybe punk rock might be on the edge for some people, but I think people like the nostalgia factor. That you see a pinup girl, of course. Cute pinup girl, you're gonna like it. Girls and guys. I think more girls are into pinup girls than guys, to be honest. I get more girls commenting on our labels and saying, "Oh my God, it's beautiful. This is cute. I have pinups all over my room," that kind of thing. But yeah, and then people, of course, the Tiki revival that we're going through, or went through, and it's nostalgia and it's escapism, of course, and all of it is. So yeah, it just works. It all melds together and works. And I always told people, it's just stuff that people are like, well, how'd you come up with this? And I said, it's not really something I came up with. It's just this is what I like.
Yeah.
And I threw it out there, and you hope other people like it too, and it turns out other people do.
No, the interesting thing is like, a lot of people that it's kind of like, well, if you're like into one, you're probably going to be into the other, and you're probably going to be into the other.
Sure. Well, like they say, rockabilly people are, retired punk rockers, right? And now Tiki people are retired rockabilly. It's just the retirement home for that.
Yeah, you know what that means? It just means that we're getting older. It's just sort of like, because you're like, yeah, you're right, because
Can't do the pit anymore. So
when
I'll
I was
just go
in
to
my
rockabilly
30s, when I had hair, I had I had the pompadour, and that slowly went away. And it's like, well,
Right behind you.
I can't do that anymore, and I have a little bit of a gut now. It's like, well, this hides the gut. So
that's what Aloha shirts are for.
That's that's why I wear them. The hide, It's like, no, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm in the tiki. Yeah, that's it. Everyone out there, I will be honest, Solvang is kind of out of the way, but I know. And how far north are we from, like, say, Los Angeles proper?
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah, we'll call it 2 hours.
Definitely worth the trip.
Yeah, go here, go up to the Madonna Inn, do all that. We get a lot of people that are traveling on their
Yeah.
way to or fro Madonna Inn. It's a destination for sure.
And I'll tell you what, one thing that I've always found that I always felt that was like very, very important when it comes to like a tiki bar is it's like, I think what's more important than the actual bar itself is the people behind it. Are they tiki people? And you are tiki people. And you love the Misfits.
That's right.
And that's all that matters to me. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers. It was the song Vampira
Oh yeah.
that the switch flicked on for me. I got Walk Among Us, and I was like listening to it, and I'm like, okay, this is all good. 20 Eyes, what was the song after that? But it was Vampira, and I remember like then I'm like seeing pictures of like who Vampira was. I was like, oh shit. Well, obviously she's from like the 50s or like the 40s or something, but she's definitely like a precursor to like Elvira.
Yeah.
And then
that was a big fight. Yes.
and then and the way I kind of knew of Vampire was the Ed Wood movie Plan 9 from Outer Space. God, I remember like seeing and like the Devil Lock thing, and it's kind of like they completely owned it to the fact that like there was no ever there was no other bands who were like, hey, you know what, we should have Devil Locks like the Misfits, but like they had it so locked in that it's like no, you can't do that.